Welcome to the Maverick Center in West Valley City, Utah for our live coverage of Round 2 of the 2021 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. Now, teams are competing in two separate sessions today. Earlier today, Utah, Arizona State, Boise State, and Southern Utah University competed in Session 1, with Utah and ASU advancing to tomorrow night's regional final. Now we're set to go in Session 2 with LSU, Kentucky, Utah State, and Arizona, plus this list of individuals who are not on qualifying teams into the NCAA tournament. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with my fellow Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark, broadcasting from our respective home offices. Kathy, there's a lot of tension and a lot of drama normally in the regional competitions because there's so much at stake. As we saw earlier today, 2 teams qualified to the regional final. 2 more teams from tonight's session will also qualify. There will be some drama.
Well, just like Session 1, the top 2 seeded teams here have the advantage. They have the highest max score potential. They've scored those high scores all season long. That said, they can't rest on their laurels or let weird nerves that we see in regionals alter the way they compete normally. There's something so uniquely special about seeing all these teams competing at the same time, 4 events running at the same time, same judges. It just makes for an exciting meet where sometimes the unexpected can happen.
Well, that's true, and this weekend, of course, 36 teams started competing, and it's going to come down just to 8 teams moving on to the national championships in 2 weeks. Here's how it works. 4 regional sites, 36 total teams. 16 of those teams were seeded. The first round was essentially a play-in meet yesterday. Second round, which is today, 2 quad meets. We had Session 1 earlier. Now is Session 2. 2 teams from each of those quad meets advance to tomorrow night's regional final. And then from there, just 2 teams advance to the NCAA semifinals. Now, the judging in the postseason is a little different than the regular season. There are 4 judges here. High and low scores are dropped. The remaining 2 scores are averaged. So 2 teams will advance, and 2 teams, their 2021 season will come to an end. In this first rotation, you see Arizona will be on vault, Kentucky on bars, LSU, which is the 7th-ranked team in the country, on beam, and Utah State will open up on the floor. We'll be seeing tonight's competition in the quad box, which means you, if you have a favorite team here, you will see every routine from your favorite team, plus the individuals. Kathy, I was sort of adding it up earlier today. I think we're covering over 100 routines, and there's 4 regions going, and so literally we're doing several hundred gymnastics routines on the ESPN3 platform today. What a great tribute to these young ladies, these teams, and these coaches for, what has been really a very smooth pandemic season. Very few postponements. Of course, we were heartbroken that Auburn didn't make it to the regional because of COVID tracing protocols, and of course here Temple is out of this competition as a result of contact tracing as well. But for the most part, it's been a really successful regular season.
Now, kudos to all of the teams and the great lengths that they went all season long, managing how much it affected the way they train, the way they travel, the way they compete in these competitions. And when you look at this quad box, you really see what a regional feels like when they're all going at the same time. Now imagine if the stands were full of their fans. It's usually a crazy environment with so much noise, very easy to get distracted. This is why you always hear the teams and the coaches and the athletes talking about staying in their bubble. They have to stay focused on their strong, effective cues for every event, every routine. And so seatbelts on, here we go.
Here we go, starting on the bars there for Kentucky, Haley Davis. For Arizona on the vault, Caroline Harry. LSU will be led off on the beam with Christina Desiderio. And on floor for Utah State, it'll be Ariel Toomey who will lead them off. Remember, 6 athletes compete on each team. On each event, you count just the best 5 scores on that event towards the team total.
And this is a great test for LSU. Notice there was a little bit of a balance break right there on her lead. This is a lot of pressure to start the competition on this event, but if you want to be a national contender, you need to be able to handle this type of pressure. Vault, a Yurchenko full, 995 start value. Big hop on that landing. That will be the deduction on that vault. So far, Christina Desiderio only has one balance break that I've seen that was significant enough for a slightly larger than normal deduction than I've usually seen in this opening position. So that was a little bit of nerves there. As I said, this pressure just feels a little different.
For Utah State on floor, Ariel Toomey is a sophomore out of Tacoma, Washington. 7 times this year she competed in the all-around for the Utah State Aggies.
Bart, they are so clean on floor. That is what they will rely on. Clean execution on their dance and tumbling, and of course control on the landings. Well done, good start for them on floor.
I misspoke, my apologies. Ariel Toomey does primarily just floor exercise, and that's all she competed this year. I misread my own notes. That's the thing with 4 teams, Kathy. We have a lot of people. I was adding it up today. We have, what, about 15, 16 athletes times 4 plus the individuals and all the coaches. We got a lot of bios to keep track of, so my apologies.
Ashley Matt giving last-minute instructions to Sammy Durante before she goes on beam. People may remember Ashley, or Bugs, as she was affectionately called. A great LSU gymnast, phenomenal performer, hugely successful, and now as a coach, particularly on this event, she has a great connection with these athletes.
For Arizona, Caroline Harry led them off with a 9.725. This is Danielle Nosek on vault for Arizona.
Nice control on that Yurchenko fall and a great bar routine.
Shaylin Luxick coming after Haley Davis led them off with a 9.825.
Kentucky has phenomenal, very exciting, very difficult dismounts off the uneven bars and an uncanny way of finding those landings.
Oh!
Nerves, nerves.
Oh my goodness.
I started to see the nerves creep up in her as this routine built.
Sammy Durante from LSU coming after Christina Desiderio led them off with a 9.8. She is normally rock solid, especially on bars where she is a rock.
She's having so much trouble. This will obviously be the score they hope to drop because of the fall, but she's even missing connection, so the nerves have really gotten to her. Like I said, we have watched Sammy compete for years, and normally she is just rock steady.
Uncharacteristic for Durante, who is of course a senior from Athens, Georgia. She'll have a chance to redeem herself later on in this competition, especially on bars where she is superb.
Beautiful stuff, this Yurchenko full for Arizona on vault. This is Bailey Bunn on the bars. She has been outstanding in the all-around for Kentucky all season long. Little bit short on that handstand. Again, these are just little nervous errors and flaws we're seeing. But got that dismount. They have worked so hard and really focused on sticking these dismounts on bars.
Shaylin Luxick had a 9.9, a career high before her. You know, Kathy, it's right. We were talking to Tim Garrison earlier this week, and he didn't want to give away his secrets, but he's got some really interesting training techniques on how they hone in on those bars landings, doesn't he?
And we promised we wouldn't give them away either, but we are seeing the results of those drills. They're paying off.
Ariel Toomey led Utah State off on floor with a 9.85.
Okay, this is when a teammate or your coach will walk up to you and say, be normal. To Ashley Bryant, really to all of these athletes, because we are definitely seeing just these initial nerves on this first event. They need to settle down because the top 2 teams, the ones expected to qualify, they can survive a mistake. They can survive a fall. It's multiples that they can't. So they need to settle down and refocus. A little step out of bounds. The Utah State on floor exercise.
That was Zaza Brovedani for Arizona. They've scored well there. Peyton Bellows had a 9.85, a season high for her. Haley Bryant coming after Sammy Durani's 8.875. Extra pressure here on LSU in the first rotation. And it is by draw, they say, but every #1 seed in all 4 regionals drew balance beams. So they drew them all, of course, at the same time. But unfortunately, the #1 seeds all got what would be considered not an ideal order. Not many teams like to start on beam.
Okay, so notice she is repeating that front aerial because she needed the connection to get that series. It's a special requirement on beam, the acrobatic series. So showing nerve, she will get the deduction for the break.
Jessica Castles for Arizona on vault now.
Very clean vault. Legs were just glued together. Nicely executed, just the hop on the landing. So a little rough balance beam routine. This will not be the high scores we're used to seeing.
It's interesting, Kathy, the pressure, as we talked at the top of the show, is different on the top teams. Here's LSU that's been in the top 4, at least, all season long. They're currently ranked 3rd in the country. They're a favorite to challenge for the national championship. But for the top teams, they have to get through this meet. They have a lot to lose. In fact, the lower-ranked teams have everything to gain and not much to lose. But those top-ranked teams, if they falter today, the season's over. And after having a season where they're considered a contender for a national title, the disappointment is massive.
And here's the thing, you can talk about that too much, but if you don't talk about it, you're not addressing the elephant in the room, because that is just the fact of the matter. So you have to experience that feeling and know how to handle it. And the whole thing is being normal. That's why you lock into those cues that you do every single day in practice, in training. They have so many meets under their belts. So great routine up there on bars. Phenomenal dismount, double layout with a full twist.
And what a start for Kentucky. They have a 9.825, 9.9, 9.875, 9.875, and expect a big score there. Back to vault for Arizona. Malia Hargrove coming after Jessica Castles at 9.825.
Strong finish on floor there. Beautiful height on that 1.5 twist. That's a 10.0 start value. Just a step back on the landing. I almost thought she was going to get that stick. Really need to finish these tumbling passes in complete control. A long wait, and the reason why, when routines have errors and repeating skills and connections that may or may not be given credit because there was a slight pause between the two, it takes the judges longer to assess those routines and determine bonus point.
Late Varnador for Utah State on floor. Toomey led them off with a 9.85, a career high for her. Eve Jackson came back with a 9.6.
And another strong routine for them. Well done.
Getting set to vault over there is Juliana Rowland. She's from Temple. Now, as we mentioned, Temple, a team, most of the team out with contact tracing protocols, but Juliana Rowland, the junior, here competing as an individual. Quite a heartbreak that they weren't able to play in that play-in meet yesterday, but great to see that Juliana Rowland and Faith Leary are competing for the Temple Owls today.
Wow, fantastic bar routine. So aggressive. Attacked these handstands throughout, and a full out. That is a sky-high dismount, and I'm flashing back to that interview at SEC's when she says sometimes you have to, when you find the landing, if you have to grab with those piggy toes, you grab with them, and she held on so tight with those toes into the mat. Now I see what she means.
Oh, nice fault there for
execution on that full. That is the key to a Yurchenko full, to make it stand out, because so many of the athletes perform that same vault. You have to make it special by completing the twist with those open hips, flare those arms out, and really make it special.
What a start for Kentucky on bars. 9.825, 9.9, and 3 9.875s in a row, and we do not yet have the score for Raina Worley. So a lot of pressure now on LSU, not only because of the mistakes, but because of these judging conferences. They're really slowing it up. It's like icing a field goal kicker. These gymnasts have to wait to get the call to go, and just adds to the pressure. This is not what LSU wanted in this first rotation.
No, but this is the moment where you have to trust your training, trust yourself. You've put in the work, all of the repetitions, the hundreds of routines that you've done and done successfully well.
LSU had a 197.775 at the SEC Championships. They finished second by 1/10 of a point to Alabama. On floor, Rebecca Wells from Utah State after Leighton Varnador had a 9.825.
Opens with a pike double, very good control on the landing. Combination pass, 1.5 twists through to a double twist.
The score now in for Haley Bryant from LSU, 9.375. This is Bridget Dean. Extremely secure, very confident, so they can get this team right back on track just by being normal. Side aerial to back handspring, very solid. Strong finish over on floor. This is exactly what you'd expect from Bridget Dean. She has been so solid all season long. And they have been in pressure situations before. It's been a season for them finding this consistency on beam. So well done. She did her job. They can build on that. And a season high of 9.925 on beam, scored a 9.875 under the pressure at the SEC Championships a couple of weeks ago. It's interesting with LSU because they had a great season going, and then they had a tough loss to Florida, and then they lost 2 other meets in a row, and it took them a little while to get back on track. They had a really good run at the SEC Championship, but Alabama was not to be denied 2 weeks ago. LSU poured it on with an incredible finish on vault. But Alabama hung together on beam, held on to the pressure in Huntsville, Alabama, to secure their first SEC title since 2015. So a lot of drama in the SEC, as is the case every year, Kathy.
Yes. But it really prepares them so well for the postseason, because they do find themselves in those pressure situations. They like to say in the SEC, there is no down meet, there is no down week. It's always intense. So they are very well prepared coming into the postseason for these types of situations.
Rebecca Wells, a career-high 9.9 for Utah State on floor, and that brings up Autumn DeHardy.
is a high energy routine, really nicely executed pike double back. Gymnasts are allowed one step in the direction of their tumbling. So if they're back tumbling, they can take that one step back as long as they keep the front foot down. Nice Rudy into a Shushanova.
Scores in on beam now for Bridget Dean, a 9.85, so that brings up Kaya Johnson.
As most people know, Kaya's been in and out of lineups. They really manage her so that she can be strong in the postseason. She's had a tender Achilles, so they just manage it all season long. She doesn't compete in every meet on floor or vault, the two-leg events. Here's her acro series. Very solid so far. I like the look of confidence that you can see on her face. She's relaxed, yet aggressive. Really well done on that leap series. Front toss, just a slight adjustment. This is where your inner warrior really has to come out, and it is showing right here. If she can get this landing, double twist. Very well done, excellent. It's nice to see the team starting to settle in a little bit. Nerves were flying around just that those first few routines. People may notice that's Gracie Kramer, who's the volunteer assistant coach for Utah State there on the sidelines. Great floor performer herself.
By the way, the scores are all in on the bars for Kentucky. That 49.475 is a season high score. What a way for the Wildcats to start this NCAA regional.
Beautiful leap, showing that full 180. Front through to a double back. Oops, step out of bounds. It's a 1/10 of a point deduction. As I said, I was most impressed by this team on floor, how clean their execution is and their performance quality is really nice.
This is Jessica Gutierrez, Autumn DeHardy before her, a 9.875. It's the second athlete on their team to step out of bounds, so they'll have to count one of those. Kaya Johnson's score for LSU on the beam, an impressive 9.9. Reagan Campbell now with a very important routine. They already have an 8.875 that they're going to drop, but they will have to count a 9.375. And whatever score that Reagan Campbell can manage right here in that anchor spot.
Effortless on that layout step out. Excellent floor routine there.
Outstanding start for Utah State in the first rotation.
Aerial to Sisson, my favorite sequence in this routine. Reagan has superb basic training on beam, and it really shows up in those leaps. A difficult leap series made to look very easy. And the dismount. Round of double twist. Well done. The last half of this lineup, they can now breathe a huge sigh of relief.
For sure.
As I said, this is the kind of experience, as painful as it is in the moment, it is so important that these great teams experience them so they can handle this kind of pressure. They know what it feels like. They know how to then relax, focus. Sometimes you just mentally have to shut the door to anything that creeps in that's not your normal.
This is Skylar Kilo-Wilhelm from Washington. She's competing here as an individual. So the individuals go at the end of the lineup, and she and her teammate Amara Cunningham will be on floor here. They're traveling around with Utah State.
Amplitude and execution on the double back. Front double twist, middle pass. Position on both of those leaps, that ring position and the full split. Oh, a little off on that last pass. Looks like she stepped over the line. I did really like the clean, precise footwork throughout the entire routine. Just that last tumbling pass, she had a little trouble on the second element. Kind of mistimed the punch into it and then tucked over that front somersault.
Score is in for Reagan Campbell for LSU on beam. It's a 9.925 after Kaya Johnson's 9.9, but once again, they have to count a 9.375. And they dropped the 8.875, so LSU with a 48.85 is roughly 0.6 of a point behind Kentucky, who has the lead with 49.475. Utah State in second, and Arizona with a 49.05 in third. LSU has put themselves in a bit of a pickle here in this first rotation. They're going to have to dig deep to recover from that difficult start. Amara Cunningham, also from Washington, competing today here as an individual. All Pac-12 first floor team.
Ranked 21st on this event, so she is really hoping to nab that one spot available out of this regional for floor exercise here. It's the top score of a gymnast from a non-advancing team.
So from this regional, we'll have one all-arounder from a non-advancing team and the top score on each event from a non-advancing team that will go straight through to the NCAA championships in 2 weeks, and they will compete there as individuals. Here is the junior from Nyack, New York, Amara Cunningham.
Big tumbling pass, front through to double back. Lost the toe point just a little bit at the height of those wolf jumps. Big double pike. All right.
That concludes the first rotation. Gymnasts, please stay.
All right, let's take a look at the national seeds coming into the regionals. Florida, #1 in the country. Oklahoma, #2. Only the second time OU is not the #1 seed since 2014. They're the top 16 teams, and then 20 additional teams were added to make the 36 that are competing in the regionals this weekend. LSU in third, but off to a rough start here today. Kentucky has the lead. They're the 14th ranked team in the country, but right now on a season high 49.475 on bars. What a spectacular start, Kathy, and they have the lead in the team competition.
Absolutely. They took advantage of this situation. They are superb on this event. Shaylin Luxick started off with a 9.9, and they just continued with high flying dismounts and stuck landings with Bailey Bunn. Hallie Nixon. Beautiful long swing, great handstands, and their trademark high flying dismounts. And Raina Worley just powered through this routine. High flying, well executed, difficult skills, and just drilled this dismount. She was not going to let those feet move. Held on tight with the toes.
High fives from Tim Garrison, the 10th year head coach there. What a start for the Wildcats. So they have the lead by 0.35 after the first rotation. Some highlights for Arizona. Malia Hargrove, a 9.875. Kentucky, that 49.475. A best score of the season for them. So we're off to a great start here, and a bit of a surprise because LSU struggled on beam, but guess what? Everybody needs to go to the beam at some point during this competition. So LSU will move to the floor where they're spectacular and hope to regain their momentum. They're the #2 team in the country on that event. Make sure you join us 2 weeks from now, April 16th at 1 and 6 Eastern on ESPN2 for the semifinals of the NCAA Championship, and then the finals on Saturday, April 17th at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Boy, there was some drama in the regionals today, Kathy. The Athens Regional, take a look at this. NC State played in the first round yesterday. They had to beat Western Michigan. And then they competed today in the evening session, and they upset 16th ranked Illinois. So NC State will have to go 3 days in a row. It's pretty rare that somebody in a play-in meet gets all the way to the final, and they're joining Florida, Denver, and Minnesota, the top seeds in the Athens Regionals. So great job for NC State. to fight their way into tomorrow's final there. In Morgantown, California, Ohio State, Michigan, and UCLA will advance there. The upset there was number 12 BYU, upset by Ohio State in that second round competition to advance to the regional final tomorrow night as well. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Arkansas, they competed earlier today and have earned a right to compete in the final session. And tonight, right now, Oklahoma, Auburn, Missouri, and Maryland competing for those final 2 spots. Well, here we are set for the second rotation here in our regional here in Salt Lake City. Utah State will be on the vault, Arizona on the bars, Kentucky will move to the beam, and LSU hopes to regain some momentum on the floor. We're the second-ranked team in the country. What do you expect in this rotation, Kathy?
Oh, so hopefully a little bit less drama in this rotation. I think the teams have settled in nicely. LSU has to seize this moment. They can be superb on floor exercise. They need to kind of free themselves, though, to really go after. Instead of being in defense mode, they really need to go into more of an offensive mode. And Kentucky, wow, they did exactly what they needed to do on bars. They can carry that momentum over on beam, where they have been a little inconsistent. This lineup has some new competitors who have only done beam a couple times. This may be the third competitive routine for them. So great challenge, great opportunity.
On bars for Arizona is Sierra Linton. On beam for Kentucky will be Reina Alvarez. Floor, you're watching Christina Desiderio for LSU. Utah State on the vault. They're finishing their warm-ups because they have a few specialists who will be competing. In fact, 4 of them will be competing along with Utah State, so they get a little extra warm-up time. They're not yet set to go.
This is only the 3rd time Reina has competed beam in her career. 3rd straight time leading off, and look how confident and secure she is.
Oh my goodness. What in the world?
It's like she's almost stopped in the middle of that skill. She set it up, she started to follow through, and then didn't finish strong. Really unexpected, because she was just so confident and calm the first half of the routine.
We get some notes from Rachel Garrison, the associate head coach, wife of Tim Garrison. She is
one of the things that
Kentucky, and of course they're the 13th ranked team in the country. This is one of their best events.
Tim Garrison said to us that this season it's taken them longer to find their ideal beam lineup, and it's because they had fewer meets because of COVID, and also fewer opportunities for exhibition routines, which is where you give the experience to create your depth that is so necessary on this event. You ideally would like to be at least 8 or 9 deep on this event.
Leighton Varnador led off Utah State on vault there, as Alyona Shenikova takes to the floor for LSU.
Alyona has had a terrific season, competing in the all-around, almost every meet. Little big step after that first tumbling run. She opened with a front double twist. We'll see a lot of E passes from LSU. They do the difficult tumbling. Even that more difficulty in that combination pass. She did the back 1.5 to the front full. to a split jump. Very strong routine.
Autumn DeHardy set to go now on vault for Utah State. 9.825 is the score for their leadoff vaulter, Leighton Varnador.
Great leadoff score. Yurchenko full. Love the way she sets up that twist. She blocks first, sets, and then wraps the full twist. Nice execution. Beautiful first handstand on bars.
Oh!
Went the wrong way on that full pirouette. She would have connected those two skills, which is a lot of bonus. Important connection for the routine.
Those two scores for Arizona on bars, 9.75 for Linton and Mackenzie Kane at
Pulls that one back.
9.825.
Sorry, Bart, she was arching over on that handstand. She saved it, but impossible for me not to react. Look how much work it took for her to save that last handstand. You could see it on her face.
That's Malia Hargrove, the third one up for Arizona.
Nice triple series.
Reina Alvarez led off Kentucky with an 8.325. Unlucky on the beam, so a lot of pressure on the next 5 here for the Wildcats. This is Isabella Magnelli.
And so far she is handling it. A little slight break after that full turn.
Sarah Ballard for LSU on the floor now.
This is a fun routine to watch. Double layout, steps out of bounds.
Rebecca Wells on the vault for Utah State.
Oh, holds on to that landing. Nice amplitude on that combination pass. Pike double back, and I just love this music and choreography and the way she performs it. She just really, you can tell she loves to perform this routine.
That was Sierra Ballard. 2.9875 for LSU to lead them off on floor. Good scores, and expect a decent score there as well. To the vault, Logan Varnador now.
And they have good scores as well. Goes into that Yurchenko half. Step on the landing. That start value is 995.
Logan, the twin sister of Leighton Varnador, who's competing in the all-around here.
And they actually both perform the same ball.
Caitlin de Guzman. Interesting that her first meet of the year was at the SECs a couple of weeks ago, Kathy.
And the second one here at regionals. She did a beautiful job at SECs. She has such a lovely toe point. And I really appreciate her performance quality, her beam posture. Very floaty back handspring layout step out. I mean, she really looks so comfortable. It looks as if she's been competing all season.
Next up for LSU on the floor, Sarah Edwards.
Fun, high energy routine. double full. Very nice job. Just that step to the side on the landing of the dismount. Another really well executed full. Unfortunately, could not control that landing. Had a big bounce out backwards.
Score for Logan Varnador before her, a 9-8. Waiting on the score for Zaza Brovedani for Arizona. This will be Bailey McCabe coming up next on the bars.
Big high tuck double back out of a round off.
Sierra Ballard had a 9.75. So good scores for LSU so far with the two big 9.875s to lead them off.
So far, Arizona has one fall on this event, so they like to drop that score. Giant blind for Pike Yeager. Full pirouette into the bail handstand, nice combination. She has just a little bit of form issue here and there, nothing major.
Kayla Meyer for Utah State on vault after a 9.75 for Grace Rojas.
Finished that bar routine with a nice stock landing.
Bailey Bunn now for Kentucky on beam. Score is in for Caitlin de Guzman, a solid 9.8.
Difficult triple series. Really like how aggressively she attacked. Even when the landing was slightly off, she just really firmly pressed down into the beam.
Bailey Bunn, the freshman from Greenville, North Carolina, competed in most of the meets in all-around this year. Kentucky has 3 all-arounders that are just Josie Angeny, Bailey Bunn, and Raina Worley.
Excuse me, Bart. Everybody needs to see this double front here on floor. Huge pass.
This is Haley Bryant coming after Sarah Edwards, had a 9.9.
Really seeing some tough performances there on balance beam. They are in a pressure situation as well. Good control on that middle tumbling pass.
On vault, competing as a specialist, Skylar Kilo-Will, Washington.
Nice form on that full. I love how tightly she squeezed those legs together.
Elena Dietz now for Arizona on bars.
Nice full pirouette. Love the toe point. She keeps it throughout this.
Haley Bryant. No. Put her hands down.
It's a very difficult pass, and we saw her have trouble with it only one other time.
And a fall for Dietz on Arizona at the same time.
She had such a beautiful bar routine going. As I said, I love the form, the straight legs, pointed toes, beautiful straddle position as she straddles up to handstand. That's a shame.
That means Arizona already with a 9-0 from Malia Hargrove will have to count a mistake on bars. That will hurt their team score. They were in second place. They were in third after the first rotation.
Very nice job on that lead. Smooth front aerial to back handspring layout, step out. Ooh, a difficult triple series. Unfortunately, lifting the leg is a balance correction that's a more significant deduction.
Mara Cunningham finishing her vault there for Washington.
Finishes a 1.5 twist. Great work on the beam. She just attacked that routine so aggressively.
So after the fall for Kentucky, the first performer, Reina Alvarez, only an 8.325. They've been strong. 9.825, 9.899, and a good score expected for Reina Worley, and that'll set up Josie Angeny. LSU was doing so well on floor. That stumble by Haley Bryant, very uncharacteristic, but that will bring up Kaya Johnson. 3 times this year she scored a perfect 10, including 2 weeks ago at the SEC Championships to win that title.
And as exciting as that would be here to see her go after that 10 again, I'm sure what Jay Clark said to her, just be normal, Kaya. We just need normal, Kaya. Just hit your routine. It's in these situations you don't want to try to do too much. And that's easy to say sitting here. Big tuck 1.5 twist vault and a great landing. Good for her.
That was Allie Smith, Washington.
Big opening tumbling run right here. Full in, well done. Little slide back.
See her heavily taped ankles. They've had to really manage her Achilles inflammation this year, and Jay Clark has been very concerned about making sure she does very few days on hard surfaces. He said she doesn't need to practice tumbling. That's just, she has magnificent technique.
Beautiful triple series by Josie Angeny for Kentucky on beam. Lovely execution. Okay, having a little bit of an internet problem here, so Bart and I both are struggling to see the pictures, I believe. Last vault, I can
here.
see her. Oh, a big, beautiful Yurchenko full.
That concludes the second rotation. Gymnasts, please stay in your corral and prepare for the third.
Talked about Kaya Johnson and what a year she's had, of course. The SEC Specialist of the Year, SEC Champion on floor exercise, 10s on vault, beam, and floor, and 30 career individual titles. Haley Bryant before her had a 9.375, so important routine for Kaya Johnson to get a big score there so LSU can get back on track in this second rotation.
So Kaya often comes up big in floor exercise, and today was no different. Huge full twisting double back for the first pass. Combination pass, very well controlled. And finishes with a huge pike double back, very controlled into that lunge.
Okay, we're having a few technical issues here with scores and picture, but when we come back, we will update you on the meet summary to this point. We're at the halfway point in the evening session of the Salt Lake City Regional. LSU, Kentucky, Arizona, Utah State, but only 2 teams. Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark here at the Salt Lake City Regional Session 2 summary. After the first rotation, Kentucky led by .35 after an outstanding start on the uneven bars. And at the second rotation, they extended their lead to a half a point. So Kentucky has the lead with a 98.7. Utah State is second with a 98.2. LSU is in third, 98.05. And Arizona, 97.55. Kaya Johnson, a highlight for LSU on floor in that rotation, a 9.95 for her. So in this next rotation, LSU goes to the vault. We're the second-ranked team in the country, and LSU now fighting for that second spot. Remember, just 2 teams from this session qualified to tomorrow's finals. And LSU, the top seed coming in, is now in third and fighting their way to earn a spot into tomorrow's regional final. Utah State having a very strong day so far. 98.2 is their team score. Athletes getting their final one-touch warm-ups as we get set for the third of 4 rotations. We've had a few scoring changes. We've had a few conferences. Seems like the scores have been slow coming out of beam, and they went back and changed the score for LSU on the beam. Haley Bryant's score was changed to a 9.225. So there's been a few technical issues that you know, there's a lot going on here, Kathy. Let's just admit that.
Yeah, and the 2 teams that seem completely unfazed by the weirdness is Kentucky and Utah State. They are just staying in their bubble. They are performing perfectly. They did not get the memo that there are issues flying around this arena. So good for them.
So in this next rotation, we'll have LSU on the vault. Utah State goes to the bars. Arizona on the beam. And on the floor is Kentucky. The leadoff vaulter for LSU will be Chase Brock. The leadoff performer on bars for Utah State will be Michaela Meyer. On beam, it's Avery Schaufacher. And on floor for Kentucky, it's Reina Alboris.
Beautiful Yurchenko full by Chase Brock, who just stepped into this lineup to be the leadoff performer. Really well done. Opportunity here for Reina Alboris to come back from the mishap on balance beam. This is an event that she is such a steady presence. She, as Tim Garrison says, she takes no shortcuts in training. She's well prepared to be composed and successful, so this should be a moment for her to shine and really contribute. Beautiful mount on beam. I hope everybody was able to see that. That's the one downside of all these events going at the same time. You're bound to miss something really beautiful.
Michaela Meyer hit for Utah State in that leadoff spot on bars. Alyona Shanikova set to go now for LSU on the vault, upper left screen.
This is a Yurchenko 1.5 twist. She has done this vault so well this season. Oh, little bit short of rotation, but she hung on, strong legs, and just took that step to the side. Strong finish for Alvarez on floor exercise. Well done. Good for her. And a hit routine for Arizona on beam.
Avery Staufhaker. I think, Kathy, coming into this session, you know, if you were to handicap it, you would say LSU would sail through this session, and it's likely to be a battle between Utah State and Kentucky for that second spot, and that's not what we're finding right now. Kentucky in the lead, Utah State second, and LSU 0.15 behind Utah State. So LSU has a task, and they are off to a great start on vault. They're up for it for sure. Chase Brock, a 9.9 to lead them off, and Alyona Shanikova, a 9.85, and that brings up Elena Arenas, and boy, she can fly here as well. Has a season high 9.95 at the SECs.
She nice. Rotation though, so that step forward will be a slight deduction.
1-1-1,
She knows this
Bart.
is the final.
I just heard
Bart,
Kathy.
welcome
1-1-1.
back.
Yeah. I'm not hearing you either, Kathy. Okay, I'm back. Kathy, can you hear me?
So Josie Angeny waiting to go on floor exercise. This is Jessica Castle's on balance beam. Gorgeous leaps, beautiful toe point.
Okay, Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson-Clark, happy to be back. We were in internet purgatory there for a few minutes, so I'm sorry if our audio dropped out, but we're happy to be back and pick up the action here in the third rotation.
Josie opens with a high double back. Just a little more amplitude on that second layout. Oh! Very low landing on the double back. One of the few errors we've seen from Kentucky so far. So far on Arizona on balance beam, their scores have ranged from 9.775 to 9.85. So solid performances.
And once again, in this rotation, LSU was on vault. Their last two vaulters, Kaya Johnson, Haley Bryant, 9.95s, a 49.525. Puts them with a team score of 147.575 at the third rotation.
Sierra Linton on balance beam, open with a double wolf turn. Triple series on beam, very secure.
Conference on the uneven bars scores for Utah State. They have two 9.8s, a 9.775, and a 9.825.
Aerial to full dismount. What a beam rotation for Arizona. They've got to be so happy with themselves. Solid, went all the way through the lineup. No misses.
Arizona, the 34th ranked team in the country. One of their best events is beam. John Court, their head coach there. Third year as a head coach, but he's been with the program for 19 seasons. He was previously under head coaches Bill Ryden and then Tabitha Yim. Taylor Spears, the former Oklahoma gymnast and former national champion on the beam. She's giving a few notes to her team. Taylor Spears used to coach at Bart Connor Gymnastics Academy and then North Carolina and Oklahoma, and now she is at Arizona doing a fine job with that beam team.
Utah State with very, very solid scores on this event. Attacking those handstands, really well done. A little bit over on that blind change. Really need to finish that right on top of the bar. Tuck double back.
Trying to get his team pumped up.
Long wait for Raina Worley. On floor exercise, trying to stay loose, relaxed.
Best score so far for Kentucky on the floor was the leadoff, a career high for Reina Alvarez. After the disappointment on beam, she poured it on floor to score a 9-9. The Guzman had a 9.725. They have two 9.875s.
And this routine is just full throttle fun from start to finish. She just floors this routine. Pun intended. Opens with a full in. Switch room to switch side. Little hip wrist flick there right before a second pass. Double back to go, this time in tuck position. Oh, just out of bounds. It almost looked like there was a slope down and there is, and just fell off the mat. 10th of a point off for going out of bounds. Just a little too much juice on that last tumbling run.
On bar, Skylar Kalo-Willem from Washington, competing as a specialist. She is in the all-around today for Washington. Had a good meet so far, 3 events. Big score for Utah State. Leighton Varnador finished them off with a 9.825 after the 8-1 for Brianna Brooks. So solid scores for Utah State there. LSU will have the lead with 147.575. Utah State with a 147.225. But we do not yet have the final score for Kentucky here in this third rotation. Arizona is in with a 146.75. Highlight of that rotation, LSU's vault, a 49.525. Arizona, a solid 49.2 on beam. Utah State, a 49.025 on bars. Look at some of the highlights. It was all LSU in this rotation. Chase Brock in the leadoff spot with a 9-9.
LSU just really put the pedal to the metal on this event and just built on each other. Huge double twist from Haley Bryant. And then watch this sky-high front pike half from Haley Bryant. One of the best vaults in the country.
Grace Rojas from Utah State, a 9.825 for this effort.
Beautiful floaty double layout. And they just stayed steady and strong throughout.
A clutch routine there for Varnador after Brianna Brooks had just an 8.1. So here is the meet summary after 3 rotations. Kentucky still has the lead, but they have squandered it a bit. It's just .175. 2.995 for LSU on vault. Career high for Varnador on bars for Utah State. And you see the other high scores there for Stoffaker and Alborez for Kentucky. All right, we'll step aside. Hope we have no more technical issues here in Salt Lake City. We'll move to the 4th and final rotation and see which 2 teams from this session will qualify to tomorrow's regional final. Welcome back to the second round of the NCAA Gymnastics Championship Regionals. Here is a look at some of the other exciting action around the country. How about this? Florida and NC State advanced to the Athens Regional Final tomorrow night. NC State had to go to the play-in meet and then qualify through as first team to do that since they changed the format in 2019. So congratulations to NC State. Michigan and UCLA advance to the Morgantown Regional Final tomorrow night. And Oklahoma and Missouri advance to the Tuscaloosa Regional Final. Arkansas and Alabama, the other 2 in that final. So, here's where we are. Kentucky has had the lead from the start. They led by .35 and then a half a point and squandered it a bit. The big story here was LSU in the 3rd rotation with those 2 big vaults from Bryant and Johnson to finish off that rotation. LSU has moved into a solid 2nd place, .35 above Utah State, who is in 3rd. And once again, the battle here is not so much about who wins, but who takes 2nd to move on to the final. And in this rotation, the 4th and final rotation, Kentucky will be on the vault. LSU on the bars. We're the 6th best team in the country. Utah State goes to the beam, and Arizona on the floor, where they're 32nd ranked.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Utah State on balance beam. They are really good on this event. Very good, very consistent. We stressed at the top, this competition was a meet where you have to try to be normal with unusually challenging nerves because of the dynamics of this meet. When you're cutting the field in half each day and it's just a do or die kind of feel, sometimes it's challenging for the athletes to channel those nerves and really focus the way they have all season long. So this can be a really good event for Kentucky on vault. They were superb at the SEC Championships. And I love the variety of vaults they have.
Bailey Bunn will be the leadoff vaulter for the Wildcats here. They're currently in the lead. 0.2 of a point over LSU.
She consistently sticks this in training, which is what Tim Garrison counts on. She was a little bit short. It's almost like she got ahead of herself. Started thinking about the stick just a split second too soon.
On bars, it's Kaya Johnson for LSU.
Superb leadoff performer on the uneven bars. Look how aggressively she goes after these handstands. And one of the most beautiful double layout dismounts in the country. That second somersault just rises. She hits a beautiful shape so she can find that stuck landing every time.
Laura Lee Horton for Arizona leading off on floor. And Leighton Varnador will lead off for Utah State on beam.
Leighton has an unusual dismount. I'm quite excited to see, actually. Handspring layout step out, a little soft in the knees and not quite as high as it should be for no deduction. lot of people forget that amplitude is a thing on balance beam as well. You really need to see these aerial skills a little bit higher off the beam for no deduction.
Isabella Magnelli set to vault for Kentucky.
And this is a huge front pike half, difficult vault, 10-0 start value. That was the best one I've seen her do all season long. Really got up on the table nicely to get a good complete block. Over rotation on that final tumbling run and floor exercise.
Chase Brock on bars for LSU now. Oh!
Overcasted the handstand.
And the leadoff score, Kaya Johnson, had a 9-9. A rare mistake for LSU on the bars. This is Jay Clark's pride and joy. He's one of the renowned uneven bar coaches in the country. So many years at Georgia and at LSU with teams that are highly ranked on this event. Uncharacteristic fall for Chase Brock.
Nailed that handstand that time. Has to finish this routine strong. Every single routine counts. Every 10th of a point matters at this point. Even if it's the routine they hope the score they will drop.
Raina Worley on vault.
1.5 twist. Really well done. Not perfect on the landing. It's almost like she got a little too excited right before her feet landed. Couldn't quite settle into that landing.
She was following up after Isabella Magnelli had a 9-8. Brianna Brooks waiting her turn for Utah State on beam.
I was expecting a little bit higher score. The only thing I can think of, since we're seeing vault from this, the angle that we're seeing vault from, we can't see how large the hop is, but the judge is sitting right on the side, so perhaps that hop was larger than I thought. Lovely split mount. Just beautiful back flexibility and extension to really show off dance skills and her choreography.
Josie Angeny ready to vault for Kentucky.
One of the best fulls you'll see. Look at the high block, the flare at the end, open hips. Really well done.
Danielle Nosek for Arizona on floor.
Just love this routine on beam. So unique, so well performed. Really shows off her strengths. Olivia Dunn on bars. Pressure situation again for LSU. Double layout, step back, didn't quite attack that landing. It was like she just wanted to be safe.
Callie Nixon waiting to go on vault for Kentucky.
Big opportunity here because Callie Nixon can do a superb Yurchenko full. She has tremendous power and good technique, really blocks off the table and keeps a perfectly straight body. Like a pencil, just pencil straight. Couldn't quite get the landing.
Such nice technique for Callie Nixon.
Yeah, we saw her stick one of those in the warm-ups at SEC Championships. and then saw Ariana Patterson, who's coming up next, stick her pike front half. So when they get those landings on these vaults, they can be super high scores.
Haley Bryant waiting her turn on bars. Remember in the previous floor exercise, she stumbled just a little bit coming after Chase Brock had a 9-1 as the low score. So LSU needs 3 big hit routines, and they have 3 great gymnasts coming up right now.
And Haley Bryant needs this routine for her confidence, because she has been extraordinary all season long. She just needs to recapture that confidence. Look at that. Love that she's going so aggressively. No holding back. This is exactly the way you get back up, come back strong, double front.
Yes.
Almost got the stick. Good for her. Glad to see a smile on her face.
Yes. She's coming up after Olivia Dunn had a 9.825 to the vault now. Ariana Patterson.
It's a big one. Pike half. So nice in the air. She couldn't get that landing. I think that was probably a decent size hop. Look at that gorgeous, very difficult leap. Turn-jeté, quarter turn in the air, amplitude, difficulty. Oh. Thought if she could just press those arms down, be a little bit more firm, she could have regained that stuck landing on the layout. Big combination there on bars. Tkachev into the pack salto. Alona Shenikova swinging aggressively. Double layout.
Nice.
Whoa. Almost hung on to that landing, not quite. That double layout looks different almost every time she does it. Sometimes she releases too early, takes it way, way out.
Libby Orman will be next to go for Arizona on the floor, waiting on the score for Elena Dietz.
See head coach Amy Smith preparing her athlete for balance beam.
Not only does Amy Smith have Eric Lewis as a associate head coach, but she has Amanda Wellick, the former star at Arkansas, and as you mentioned earlier, Kathy, Gracie Kramer on her staff. Outstanding.
UCLA great floor performer, so strong coaching staff there. They've had an excellent season.
It's ranked 22nd in the country, and their best event is beam, where they're 16th. Score for Elena Dietz, a 9.85 season high for her for Arizona on floor.
Sammy Durante getting ready for the uneven bars, and she is always a special treat. Opens with a really dynamic cast. Right off the back, you'll see just how aggressively she swings bars. Nice blind change right on top of the bar. Huge amplitude on that straddle Jaeger. Pack salto, no problem. Maybe a slight leg separation. Love the way she finishes that pirouette on low bar in the handstand.
Oh, nice.
And again, just going after this big time. Full twisting double back and a stuck landing. What a finish for Sammy Durante. It's been a tough one today, but she did her job here, and the one she has done so well time and time again for LSU in that anchor position.
You're right, Kathy. Just a little bit of an off day for LSU. Right from the get-go on beam, they had to dig in, and they came up with some clutch performance when necessary. Alyona Shenikova, a 9.875. Oh! As a fall there for Taylor Dittmar for Utah State.
She was off on the back handsprings. I was hoping that she was on enough to get enough of the beam to take off and get that dismount around. That is a shame.
So it is official at this point. Kentucky will earn one of the two spots at least. 197-125 is their score, an outstanding score in this regional. Jessica Castles waits to go for Arizona on floor and gets the green flag.
Jessica's a very polished dancer.
Score just came in for Sammy Durante for LSU on bars, and she finishes up with a huge 9.95. That clinches it for LSU. They will also advance along with Kentucky in this second round at the NCAA Regionals.
Super high 2.5 twist to her punch front. Gorgeous battement. Superb difficulty to go along with beautiful dance. Really difficult second lead, that switch half into the ring. Didn't quite get the position perfectly. Truly a beautiful routine. Really enjoyed that performance.
We're coming down to the closing performances in this regional competition. It's been a full day of gymnastics for sure around the country, with regionals in Morgantown, West Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and here in Salt Lake City.
Jessica just followed a 9.9 from Libby Orman on floor for Arizona. So they're putting up some good scores over there in their final event.
That's a career high for Libby Orman. And Malia Hargrove will be the final performer for Arizona on the floor. As you look at Autumn DeHardy coming after Taylor Dittmar, scored a 9.15 for Utah State.
Very crisp in her movements on balance beam. Has their own unique pace, style, presentation on balance beam.
Autumn DeHardy, the Mountain Rim Gymnastic Conference Balance Beam Specialist of the Year. NQS of 9.919.
Dismount, cartwheel to gainer, false. Really good routine for them. So they have one more gymnast in the lineup. They haven't been getting the big scores. I've seen a little bit of nerves from them on beam.
Here is Hargrove for Arizona on floor, their final performer.
She'll open with a really high full in. With half to front full. Clean double tuck to finish.
Carly Bales will be the final performer for Utah State on beam. We're waiting on the score for Autumn DeHardy. And we'll have two more individuals performing on floor. Faith Leary from Temple and Juliana Rowland from Temple. NCAA Gymnastics Championship Athens Regional was a thriller with NC State in the play-in meet day one and qualified through to tomorrow's finals. First time that's ever happened.
Carly Bales has such lovely, elegant arms and hand gestures on this event. Balance beam is truly a beautiful event. Oh, a little hesitation out of that front aerial into the two back handsprings. If they're strict, she may not get that connection.
Autumn DeHardy had a 9.875 before this.
Showed such beautiful extension on that lead. Her posture is just remarkable. Stretched up tall.
Carly Bales is 5'8", the junior from Baton Rouge.
And legs that go on for days. Round of 1.5 twist. She uses them to the fullest on this event, showing off that flexibility, tall posture, elegant arms.
Well, a nice day all around for Utah State. Although their effort won't be enough for them to qualify through to tomorrow's final. Kentucky with a 197-125 will win this session. LSU, after having a uncharacteristic rough day, finished only 1/10 of a point behind Kentucky. And we have a couple of final individuals competing, and right now this is Faith Leary from Temple. He's a senior from Cincinnati, the EAGL champion. Career high 9.9.
And such a shame they could not bring their full team. They had a tremendous season. So sad to see it cut abruptly short.
Their best season in 29 years. The first time they've made the postseason in the NCAA to the regional, and unfortunately out with contact tracing protocols. So luckily, Juliana Rowland and Faith Leary can compete as individuals since they weren't eliminated from contact tracing.
And their team is with them every step of the way. So far, this routine is going really well.
On beam at the same time as Skylar Willem from Washington, the all-arounder.
Ooh, had to work on that middle tumbling run. Did not quite have the amplitude she would normally have. Low landing. Oh, too bad. It started so strong. Those second and third tumbling runs, just a little trouble with the timing on the middle tumbling run and then the rotation and height on the final pass. Skylar's routine's gone really well. Let's see if she can get the dismount. Very quick 1.5 twist out of that side aerial. Nothing quite like a hit routine, I can tell you. Great feeling.
One final performer in today's regional will be Juliana Rowland on the floor from Temple. She gets a couple of notes there from coaching staff. By the way, head coach Josh Nielsen also out with contact tracing. So really an unfortunate weekend for Temple to not have a chance to be here as a full team after having their best season ever. Since 1992, Auburn was the other team that unfortunately unable to participate in their regional because of contact tracing as well. Rowland, the junior from Lumberton, New Jersey, competes in floor and vault.
So all eyes on her. All the gymnasts are done. Layout to front 1.5 twist. Big finish, very high, tuck double back. Nice high chest on that landing. Oh, what a moment, good for her. Long wait for her.
And of course, coaches Cassie Hageman and Rachel Page, they took over the reins after the head coach was out, and under a huge amount of adversity, a nice moment for the Temple Owls here to finish up the last performance in the last regional. What a day of gymnastics, Kathy. This whole weekend, we started with 36 teams on Thursday, 32 teams today, down to 16 teams for tomorrow. Here are the teams that advance to tomorrow's regional final that we will be covering at 9 Eastern on the ESPN app. Utah, Arizona State, LSU, and Kentucky. Those are the top 4 seeds in this regional, and all 4 of those seeds qualified to the regional final. Take a look at some of the highlights. Kentucky really did a nice job. They started big on bars and finished huge on vault.
They had a really lucky draw to be able to bookend a sensational competition. Love seeing these high-flying vaults.
LSU, after struggling on beam in the first rotation, came back, and Kaya Johnson did her part on bars.
There were definitely some highs, but some lows that really put this LSU team in fighting mode. They had to fight for their life here, and they did. Haley Bryant came back so strong on this bar routine, and in stellar fashion, and Sammy Durante, as always in this anchor spot, grabbed the tiger by its tail and swung it around into this dismount. Full twisting double back. Well done.
And a 9.95 to wrap it up for LSU and secure their spot in tomorrow's regional final. So Kentucky and LSU will advance to tomorrow's regional final, and we'll be there to cover it. They'll be going against, of course, Utah and Arizona State, who qualified earlier today. What an exciting day of gymnastics. We started with 36 teams this weekend. We're down to 16, and as of tomorrow, we're down to just 8 who will advance to the NCAA championship. For our whole crew, thanks for watching. And Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bart Garner. We're glad you joined us. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 Eastern for the Salt Lake City Regional Final.